Okay, so this week we are looking at Vine, which is a smartphone application. It allows users to share videos, and these videos are created with a maximum length of 6 seconds. Then you can share them on different social networking sites. And this is often called a short form video. And I really love them. Vine says that by using like this 6 seconds to create a video, it inspires creativity because you have to kind of pack it all down into this short, limited space. But sometimes I sit at night in bed like giggling at some of the vines on my phone, and my housemate has to like bang on the wall because she can hear me laughing. So yeah, comedy value is a huge attribute to Vines, and it even has like a whole channel dedicated to comedy. So this is kind of like one of the biggest values attached to Vine is the comedy value of the videos that people make. So speaking of comedy, humour, irony, sarcasm are all something that kind of makes a successful Vine one that's going to be shared by quite a few people and maybe even make you Vine famous. There was an article in Media Rev, and it talks about satire used in Vines, and it says the 7 second restriction forces Vine users to use satire, and I kind of felt like the use of the word force made satire sound like a bad thing, but I think in the Vine context, satire is actually really positive because it can help break down stereotypical boundaries and ideologies that are in the world. So like you can kind of make fun of these and like be ironic in your Vines, like it gives the example of how white people and black people act and how they differ, but by using satire we can kind of make fun of the stereotypes that are out there that says black people act like this and white people act like this. So I think Vine's a really good tool for kind of breaking these boundaries down a little bit and using mockery as like the centre of its values. It's interesting that pranks are used a lot in Vine to create this satire and humour. The Lumineer brothers were the first creators of film, and they also created the first prank video. And pranks are heavily used in Vine to kind of like capture this comical effect. So it's interesting to look at the evolution of short form prank videos, like how they evolved through time from say 30-second black and white clips with no sound, such as the Sprinkler, which is the comedy clip made by the Lumineer brothers, to now be developed into a 6 second looping clip that Vine uses. So the fact that these short form videos have been around for a while kind of shows how Vine has added and took bits away and created this new short form commentary. And I think you can kind of identify it with the GIF, like the looping of the GIF, and you can see that because Vines loop continuously. So it's kind of got elements of the GIF in it, and I think it's got elements of YouTube in it as well, because already we can record ourselves doing silly things and share them with on other social media platforms. So this short form commentary, GIF and YouTube have all kind of mashed up in a remix to come together to create Vine. So in this sense we could call Vine a reflexive remix. And in one of the readings this week, Navas says that a reflexive remix is where the remix version challenges the spectacular aura of the original and claims autonomy even when it carries the name of the original. Well, obviously it doesn't carry the name of the original here, but we can kind of see it claiming autonomy of the loop with the GIF. So I guess in that respect it is a reflexive remix. It says material is added or deleted, so you've kind of added the use of sound from the Lumineer brothers' first ever prankster video, and you've kind of deleted the fact that it can be as long as you want. It can't anymore, it can only be 6 seconds long. Navas's reading does make an interesting point. He says that music mashups are developed for entertainment. Web application mashups are actually validated if they have a practical purpose, which doesn't really apply to Vine because there's not really that much of a practical purpose for Vine. It is an entertainment. He does go on to say, this does not mean that reflexive mashups cannot be used for spectacular entertainment. YouTube and MySpace are some of the most obvious manifestations influenced by mashup models. So I guess Vine does fall into this category. It is a reflexive mashup, but rather than being used for practical purposes, it is still being used for entertainment purposes. However, I guess you could call it practical in the sense if you want to look for a funny video, then it's all just in this one application. All the funny videos are kind of just condensed into one Vine app rather than having to like scour the web for them. So in that sense, it is practical that everything is compact into one confined space. In contrast to this, I guess you could kind of look at Vine as a regressive remix as well. So regressive is kind of like looking back at the greatness of the original. And in this sense, I guess the loop of the GIF is kind of like the original aspect that Vine is now claiming autonomy of. So we can kind of appreciate the GIF and the just simplistic looping effect, and the Victorian toys that had this simple looping effect. Was it the zoetrope? I think it was the zoetrope. So we can kind of just appreciate the simplicity of this, and I think simplicity is something that makes Vine so lovable and enjoyable. The whole app is just so simplistic. Like the play button, you just have to press the whole screen and then you take your finger off just to stop it. And the fact it's only 6 seconds long, like it's just a really simple app to use. And there's a nice quote from Adorno that accompanies this. He says, regression in mass culture for him is the tendency in media to provide consumers with easily understood entertainment and commodities. And this is what Vine is. It's just simplistic to use, it's easy to use, and I guess it's what has made Vine become so popular. One of the articles in Media Res says Vine has become one of the most widely used apps in the world today, so it's gone worldwide. And I think it's due to the simplicity of the app that's done this. So finally, I want to talk about the commercialisation of Vines. Both Dunkin' Donuts and Trident Gum have recently made commercials. So they'll be using Vine as kind of like a marketing tool that's then going to be plastered on social media networking sites and on the television as well. And both the adverts do work quite well, but surprise, surprise, commercialisation of entertainment is being used again. And yeah, I guess it's cost effective and it's something a bit different, but it's just a shame that monetization is taking over something that should be for pleasure, not for profit. But that's how the world works now, and money makes the world go round. What is interesting in the Trident Gum advert is that they use a Vine user that's one of my favourite Vine users, Nicholas Megalis. So when I saw he was in it, I was kind of like, oh my god, I've got to watch this advert. And I guess that's one of the hooks of using someone that is internet famous, such as Nicholas. People will appreciate the advert more because they recognise him. Another one of my favourite Vine users is Brittany Furlan. And it's crazy that these people have become internet famous from creating funny videos on the internet. I think it's really great.